Someone once said that common sense and following good personal hygiene will limit germs from finding a way into your body. And a healthy, balanced diet is essential to keeping healthy. It's another exciting time on Let's Talk with me, Olujoke Masako. The topic is food nutrition and personal hygiene. Mrs. Deborah Uguchi, founder Abuja Culinary School, is here to shed some light. Welcome and thank you for staying tuned. Hello, Debbie.
Hello,
It's really good to have you here.
thank you so much. It's good to be here.
All right. What is food nutrition and personal hygiene?
For me, good nutrition is really a varied diet that helps you to function at the optimum. If food that you eat that you take into your body that helps you to be the best that you can be. I think for me that's good nutrition.
Okay.
Because sometimes you find that some of our diets can affect your performance at work, can affect your health, and can affect your overall output. So for me, good nutrition is food that helps your body to do what it is supposed to do.
So, what about the personal hygiene?
Personal hygiene and nutrition actually go hand in hand because we know that a lot of these communicable diseases are linked to personal hygiene. Things like even the pandemic we're facing, we know that with personal hygiene we can um, we can mitigate their effects. So personal hygiene is making sure that some of these harmful pathogens and some of these bacteria that can harm us are kept at bay by keeping to good, hand washing practices and generally keeping our environment very clean.
So, how would you explain the relationship between personal hygiene and food nutrition?
They are very very related in the sense that for for a food to be considered good, good for the body to consume, it should be free of germs and pathogens. So if, for instance, we train people to be chefs, in my school, and one of the courses that we put them through is good kitchen practices. And this is a situation where we teach the students where we take them through a crash course on bacteria and infectious diseases and how sometimes this food that we eat can be carriers of these bad bacteria and pathogens. And so if as a cook now or as a chef you don't obey good personal hygiene, that can affect the output of any food that you're cooking. And if even if a food is very, very nutritious and very good, for consumption, if it is not properly prepared, it can still cause harm to whoever is eating it. So I think that's the relationship.
All right. So, what are the factors that can negatively impact hygiene?
Number one, the environment.
Okay.
The environment where you're preparing your meal, for instance, is it free of bacteria? Is it clean? Or does it breed bacteria? And funny enough, you'll be shocked to know that the cleanest place, according to scientists, is actually the cleanest place in the house is the bathroom.
Wow.
Now, the dirtiest place where you find bacteria and very, very, very really bad guys like E. coli, Salmonella is in the kitchen.
Mm.
So it's found that your bathroom is is most likely the cleanest place in your home because you know that okay, this is my bathroom and you tend to clean it more. But the kitchen is usually the most ignored part of the house because this is where you eat, this is where do a lot of things. This is where you interact with maybe friends and family. But then people don't take the time to know that this is also the place where they can get infected with some of these bad bacteria, easily. Because you buy your vegetables from the market, the woman, you don't know how it has been handled. You don't know the kind of bacteria it's carrying. You bring it to your kitchen table, you cut it. Maybe you don't even remember to clean the tabletop, and then you bring another food, maybe your fruits, you cut it in that same place. So you see the link. So you now see that actually more attention needs to be placed in that particular place where you're cooking, even than any other place, because that's where you put that's the place where you eat your food and put in your body. So
Why is it that we do not really pay close attention to kitchen? Is it because we feel we work there like almost every day and we tend to do some little cleaning, or why? Why?
yeah, so I think for from what I have seen, I think is really because we underestimate how much bacteria and pathogens some of the food that we cook carry. We know is like your enemy, so you're prepared. We know that physics, for instance, is very bad.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to handle physics with your hands and things like that. So we go
Yeah,
the
and
extra mile to clean our bathrooms, because we know that whatever we're doing there is not a business that you want outside. But for the kitchen, I think a lot of people don't pay attention to it because they underestimate how much bacteria comes into that area, that workspace called your kitchen. So we see these vegetables, they look very good, we see the fruit looking all clean and nice and fresh. And because we don't see this bacteria with our naked eye, we don't know that we actually need to take time to clean it, to make sure that everywhere is sterile, before cutting some of these things. So I think it's just underestimating how bad these things can be and how very easily they can get into our food.
okay, I would like to also let's look at the body types. Does eating have? Do we have to eat according to our body type?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even though I'm a champion of being comfortable in your own skin. Obviously, not everybody is going to be a size 6 or size 8, or size 4. But I believe that our nutrition, your diet is directly linked to your body weight. Yeah, for people who are on the heavier side, maybe it's important to avoid food, that encourages fattening and things like that. But the what I've also seen also is that even though diet is important in maintaining optimal body function, is you is also about other things, other factors like adequate rest, taking enough water, and keeping your body, I call it psychological fitness, your mind, your mental, your brain at rest, and making sure that you in mentally you are fit, in the sense that you're not, because in this world of social media there's a lot of pressure, especially on women, to look a certain way, to dress a certain way. But and that can create a lot of pressure internally. So you find some people even eating the right diet, doing the right exercise, but they are not losing weight. That's because already in their mind they're already defeated.
Mm.
Mentally they're not giving themselves. They don't accept their body. You must be able to accept your body, and then when you now combine it with good diet, good nutrition, and adequate rest, and taking enough water, and then you begin to see yourself actually fall in love with yourself.
I think this our body size, our the way our body is fashioned out is a gift from God, because From what you said, people until you accept until you accept your body type, until you accept who you are, you really cannot heal. So with that, I think this is just a note of caution to people out there to always love themselves, love what God has given to you, either fat, slim, or anything. Just love it, but always try to maintain the balance. I think that's where that comes from. So moving further, what is the place of age, gender, and height to eating healthy and maintaining good hygiene?
Yeah, very important. The thing is, the truth is, so some of the things that as you grow older, as an individual grows older, there are some of the things that you got away with when you were younger. For instance, maybe picking your nose and eating all of these things that you might not be able to get away with, as you grow older. And we know that old age comes with a lot of other health challenges. So as you grow older, maybe you were not paying attention to your diet as a young person before, but as you grow older, you need to start to pay attention to your diet, because you're really who you eat. You're what you eat. For instance, a woman in her 40s, in her 40s, needs to understand that her body is not functioning at the same level when she was 20 or 30. And the same for a man, actually. We know that at 40, 50 years old, men have to, it will be good, it's good for them to go for prostate examination, to avoid things like prostate cancer, and to eat food that will help to mitigate such risk, because people who are older face higher risk of things like prostate cancer, diabetes, and all of those other things. So at that age now, you begin to pay attention to what you eat, because what you eat can determine whether you're going to live a healthy life, a healthier life down the line, or you're going to have issues with your health. So your age, your gender, and your height, your physical measurements,
All
all
right.
that play a role. Yes, they play a role in ensuring what happens, down the line. The truth is, for somebody who has been fit all their life, and eating healthy food, taking care of their health and their diet, they are more likely to live healthier lives. They will live healthier lives, actually, than somebody who has not been paying attention to his health. I know somebody who is in his 40s who drinks a lot of sugary drinks, carbonated drinks and all that. And even though nobody in his family had diabetes, he started to get diabetic. And obviously that was linked to his diet. He felt like, oh, well, I am strong, I exercise, I I do things that physically challenge my body, so I'm fine. But then, in spite of all that exercise, in spite of the active lifestyle, his diet was not good enough, and he began to have those issues. And as soon as he corrected his diet, as soon as he corrected what he was eating, he was fine. So as we grow older, and it's really there's really no it's not rocket science, actually. What are the things that you should pay attention to? Is as simple as drinking enough water, for instance. Having a physical an active lifestyle, eating well, eating more vegetables than you would for carbohydrates and all that, and taking enough rest. That's just the basics of what I think makes up good health, and helps to prevent some of these diseases we're talking about down the line as we grow older.
Okay. To further buttress, or further build on what you just said, you made it clear that there is an opportunity to correct all wrongs. Meaning, if you've been having a bad diet, a bad habit as regards diet or hygiene, you can always correct it. Is that it? Even if you're 50, it can still be corrected.
Yes, yes.
All right, so now let's look at the body odor. What is the cause of body odor? Some people might be clean, but they still have this body odor. So, what is the cause of that?
Well, I'm not I'm not a doctor, obviously, but from what I know, um, you know, from what I know is that body odor are caused by bacteria. What you smell out, what you perceive as that odor coming out, are just some of the end products of the bacteria that are on the skin.
Mm.
And you find them mostly in the armpits and other areas of the body, usually on the skin. Now, what happens is in our body we have the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. But the thing is, in a healthy, normal human being, let's say a male, for instance, there are billions and billions of bacteria on our skin. Now, out of those billions of different types of bacteria, some are good and some are bad. Now, but the problem is that when somebody starts to have body odor, for instance, it means that, now, before I go to that, the good and the bad bacteria, they work together. Okay, they work together to create a balance. They are like in a symbiotic relationship. They don't disturb each other. This one does his own thing, this one does his own thing. But then when when an individual starts to feel when you start to experience body odor and things like that, meaning that the bad bacteria are are multiplying, because usually they coexist side by side, not bothering each other, creating a stable floral environment, right? But what you now notice is that when the bad bacteria are more than the good bacteria are just fighting a loss, but they cannot fight the bad bacteria. So their end product is what you now start to perceive as body odor. Now, what an individual can do um, at that time is to visit maybe a dermatologist. And dermatologist will be able to now decipher why this is happening, where the odor is coming from. And I know that with some drugs and maybe a few lifestyle changes, it can be overcome.
Okay, so in your own opinion, how can people living in the slums practice personal hygiene and healthy nutrition? And what should the government do to help, um, or better still, support these people? Because I know that sometimes too, poor personal hygiene or bad food nutrition can be caused by poverty too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Poverty is the number one cause of inadequate nutrition. The, for people living in the slum, there's a lot of factor, and there's a lot of there's a lot of things working against them actually. Very poor sanitation, water and sanitation, and hygiene practices. Like maybe there's no fresh water, pipe bomb water, and waste disposal. So for people living in the slum, I will say this individually because it's a lot, but it can be done. You can actually live. I think it will start with an individual making sure that for instance, boiling your water before drinking.
Okay.
That will go a long way. Hand washing, and that applies to everybody actually. Making sure that you wash your hand after you go out, and keeping your environment clean as much as you can. That can be difficult because of the environment, but then if you as an individual or as a family decide to practice some of these things, you wash your hands, you keep your food covered so that flies on the environment cannot perch on it, and try to eat as much fresh food, talking in terms of nutrition now, as much as possible. That can help to so you can thrive even in that kind of environment, even regardless of how difficult it is. It's really just practicing, is in the little things actually, covering your food, making sure that maybe when your children go outside to play, for those who have children, to make sure that they take their baths, they wash their hands before picking anything to eat. Every food is covered, the waste bin is covered, and keep as your environment as dry as possible to avoid breeding of mosquitoes. So I know that, yeah.
All right. Extending this to the general populace, both the rich, the poor, man, woman, and all. How do we maintain good hygiene and healthy diet?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, good healthy diet is a diet that, you know, helps your body to work at the optimum level. And a good diet is not a diet that exclude some classes of food. You know, every classes of food is very important for the body. You know, there's a lot of craze. There's a lot of crave that says that there's a lot of things online and everywhere that says, oh, carbohydrates. You know, that vilify carbohydrates and say, oh, fat and oil, avoid it, and then you're fine. But I say that healthy diet is varied. It's not just one diet. There's no super diet actually. It's a combination of all these other diets, you know, to make a healthy diet. Now, healthy diets like eating your vegetables, even getting making sure that you get as much goodness from that food that you're eating as much as possible by the way you prepare it. Okay. For instance, you don't overboil your vegetables. You don't for your fruits you don't boil them so that you don't destroy the vitamins and all of that. Make sure that you eat the offals, part of animals that are known to even contain vitamins. Yeah, you don't get vitamins from just plants, you get it even from animal products. So, you know, eating all of that and making sure that you just vary your diet, try new things, try different things, and make it simple, prepare for your family. That's what I think is a healthy diet.
Okay, thank you so far. Now, let's talk about the children. How do we inculcate in children on how to practice healthy diet and healthy hygiene? Basically, children hygiene.
Children, yeah, children hygiene. So for my own kids, we have a policy we enforce in my house that anybody who comes must wash their hands, and they know actually. Another thing is brushing their teeth at the end of the day, because dental health too is very important. It's part of healthy personal hygiene. You know, brushing their teeth at the end of every day after they eat all of that, brushing their teeth twice daily, you know, making sure that they wash their hands, making sure that anytime they handle, you know, dirt and um, things like before they eat their fruit and vegetable, they wash it with soap and water for the ones that they can, you know, and generally keeping their environment very clean. That's what I teach my kids. Now for their diets, I just make sure that we try different things. We don't stick to we don't stick to one particular way of or this is okay. I'm Yoruba, for instance, and we're peculiar to eat some food, but even as a Yoruba woman, I still try to make I make calabash soups, I make Igbo soups. I make all of that, you know. I vary it so that they can get the goodness from everywhere, you know. But if I restrict them to only one particular diet, that can work against them, you know. That will not be helpful. Let me put it that way. But I try to learn new things, learn if this is good, especially for seeds, herbs, and spices. You know, I try to incorporate it into the diet so that they can eat it. These herbs and spices are very good antioxidants. And what are antioxidants? Antioxidants are compound, they are elements that helps us to build. They helps to build our cell and helps our cells to be stronger. That's the layman's way I can put it. Antioxidants helps to fight free radicals in the body. You know, so they help to make our body strong, our cells to be able to do what they are supposed to do. You know, and also I try to incorporate things like probiotics in their food. You can get probiotics from yogurt, from cheese, and things like that, from fermented food.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Do you have a final word?
Oh yeah, thank you very much for having me. I just want to say that if you are committed to having if you're committed to having a good diet, you can do it. It doesn't take much actually. And I always advocate simplicity. Start from the simple things. Simple things like this food that you see all around us, they are very good and they are very nutritious. Just make sure that they are not processed and that it is gotten fresh and eaten fresh. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Deborah Oguchi. It's wonderful having you. And I wish you well and say that your school will continue to expand. And thank you too for joining me on another edition of Let's Talk. It's been wonderful. It's been fun knowing that you're always there to watch this program. And I hope that you make use of everything you learn by the day. And from what she said, start from simple things and keep doing it. Don't stop doing it. Be healthy. That's the essence of life. And health is wealth. Until next time, I remain Oluja Kimosako. Bye for now.